There we go.
Oh.
Real Talk with the RN Diva Pastor Robert podcast. Now streaming on X and wherever you podcast. Let's go.
Good evening, family. Good evening, and welcome to another edition of Real Talk with the RN Diva and Pastor Robert. I'm Pastor Robert, your host. My co-host there's the RN Diva. Say hello, Diva.
Don't tell me what to do.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, this evening, we all you thinkers, believers, skeptics, and everyone who appreciates a little truth with the evening coffee. Welcome to the Real Talk with the RN Diva and Pastor Robert. Powered by the RC TV network. Now, before we get in this docket tonight, let me remind you of something important. Platforms grow when the people who benefit from them participate. So if you're watching this right now, I need you to do me a quick favor. Hit that like button, share the stream, and subscribe if you already haven't. And those simple clicks help independent voices like us stay independent. They push this conversation out beyond our circle into the feed to people like you who might need a little more clarity and a little less noise. And also, if you're listening on the podcast replay, take a moment and follow the show and leave us a rating and review. It helps us so much. It helps us so much. Think of it as a digital word of mouth, telling your neighbor, hey, you need to hear this. Diva, we got a lot to talk about tonight. Faith, accountability, public trust, and the kind of stories that make you stop and say, wait a minute. What's going on here? So we're not here to shout, yell, or preach, or scream, or holler, but we're here to think, to question, and to examine. The scripture tells us to test all things and hold fast to what is good. So that's exactly what we're going to do tonight as we turn these mics on, turn the lights on, and get started. Now, let me do a proper introduction, because I don't do this alone. The name of the show is The Real Talk with the RN Diva and Pastor Robert. My partner in truth tonight is someone who brings more than opinion to the table. She brings experience, discipline, and the kind of insight that only comes from decades of service. She's a registered nurse with more than 30 years in healthcare, a combat veteran, thank you for your service, and someone who isn't afraid, Lord Jesus, who is not afraid to speak plainly when the facts demand it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome my co-host, the one and only RN Diva. Say hello, Diva.
Hey, boy, you put some spin on it, don't you?
I've been trying to do it.
Oh, God, listen, and where's the lie? Where's
No
the
lie.
lie? Not
No
a
lie.
word of lie.
Not a lie.
Tell the truth, shame the devil.
And listen, we want you all to put your comments down below. We already got our first comment. There we go. One of our first comments here. So as you put your comments there, especially for those who said on YouTube that you said super chats, we definitely want you to do that. We're on live.
Is that my
right
Kay?
now.
I didn't even
That's
get
Kay.
a chance to send you out the link, girl. That's what I'm talking about.
Hey, Kay. Good evening, Kay.
Hey, Kay.
Those who are on YouTube, you can send super chats, and we will read those on the line. And also those who are on Rumble, you can also send Rumble coins, and X, you can also put your comments down there. And then those of you watching on the replay on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, YouTube Music, and Amazon Music, go ahead and give us a rating. Share this right now. It's time to get into it. This next story, our first topic, is unqualified nurses in unaccredited schools. Unqualified nurses in unaccredited schools. Now, we have an RN here, so we're going to talk about it. Now, over the past couple of years, a major scandal has been unfolding in several nursing programs around the country, some here in Florida, Texas, and New Jersey. Investigators are uncovered what many are calling a diploma mill operation. Schools issuing nursing credentials that were either fraudulent or tied to programs that lack proper accreditation and oversight. Now think about that for a second. Hospitals rely on trust. Patients rely on competence. And the letters RN after someone's name are supposed to represent rigorous training, clinical hours, and a standard of care that protects life itself. But for some reason, Diva, some graduates who believed they were doing everything right, some were attending classes part of the time, paying tuition, working towards a career, the reality has been devastating. Many are finding they can't get hired, they can't advance their education, and others are caught in the middle of investigations they didn't even know existed. So this is bigger than one school or one state. It's about regulation, accountability, and protecting both patients and thousands of legitimate nurses who worked the hard way to earn their credentials like she did. So I wanted to read this because there was a story that happened. This is just one example. There's a story that happened here in the South Florida area. And about, I guess that was 2 years ago now, 2, 3 years ago.
Oh, it's been more than that.
It seems 2024. Here it is. It seems like it was longer than that, doesn't it? Here's for the Department of Justice. I guess it started prior to that, but it's just when they had it. It was the Department of Justice, 3 defendants sentenced in fraudulent nursing diploma scheme. And I'm going to read this. I'm going to leave out some of the names. Miami, on April 2nd, 3 defendants were sentenced to federal prison after previously been found guilty of wire fraud or conspiracy to commit wire fraud charges following a 3-week jury trial in Fort Lauderdale in relation to a fraudulent nursing diploma scheme. U.S. District Judge Rag Singhal sentenced the registrar of the Palm Beach School of Nursing in Lake Worth to 78 months in prison, followed by 3 years of supervised release and a $20,000 fine and ordered forfeiture of $4.6 million. Wow. It also sentenced another person who was the owner of the Center for Advanced Training and Studies in West Orange, New Jersey, to 33 months in prison, followed by 3 years of supervised release and a forfeiture of $1.3 million. Woo. These defendants were charged along with 11 co-defendants for their involvement in the scheme to sell fraudulent nursing degree diplomas and transcripts obtained from 2 private nursing schools that at one time were approved by the state of Florida to issue diplomas and transcripts to individuals seeking licenses and jobs as registered nurses and licensed practical and vocational nurses. The bogus diplomas and transcripts qualified purchasers, not students, purchasers to sit down for the National Nursing Board exam, and after passing it, got to give them credit, they passed it, to obtain licenses and jobs in various states. The overall scheme involved the distribution of more than 7,600 fake nursing diplomas. 7,600 fake nursing diplomas by the Palm Beach School of Nursing and the Queequeg School of Nursing in Palm Beach County. These schools are now closed, thank God, due to excessive failure rates, of its students taking the state nursing exam. Now, here's the thing. So that means that there's 7,600 fake diplomas out there, nurses out there who don't have credentials.
Correct.
Oh, my Lord. That means somebody might be trying to help you in the doctor's office or in the hospital, as the old folks say, and they're not qualified. Diva?
Listen, let me just let me put my disclaimer out that hello, Miss Auntie Nanti and Kay. Let me say hello to my babies. But before I even let me put this disclaimer out there. There is no shortcut to nursing school. There is no shortcut to becoming, I don't care if you're an LPN. There is no shortcut. So put in your time, do the work, because if I got to do it, you got to do it, because I'm an old lady. So what I'm telling you is, if you are looking into getting your nursing license, you need to go to nursing school, you need to look into making sure that school is accredited. Not only is it accredited, how long is it accredited for? Because there's been some students sitting up on their first day of class, and folks walk in and say, well, your dean just got fired and we're losing our accreditation. Whoa. Oh, you got to see me. You got, I don't sharpen all my pencils and everything, and I'm sitting up on the first day of class, and you gonna tell me what? Oh, you got to see me.
Are you kidding me?
Do your due diligence. Get in there and check your program. See who it's accredited by. See how long they're accredited. See if they are in good standing, because a lot of them are getting put on
like a probation or something.
like a probation board, like a watch program. They'll allow you to go ahead through the year, but they're watching you the entire way through. Check for accreditation and see how long it's up and running for. If they're on any type of probation or watch, you better know this stuff, because I'm going to tell you one thing for sure, two things for certain. You will not get a refund. Refund. They will not give you, if they shut the doors, you kiss that money goodbye. That money is gone. And I don't care what lawyer you get, you're not going to get your money back. So do your due diligence. Make sure that you are on point about the place where you're going to go to school, where you're about to spend the majority of your life for the next 2 or 3 years.
Well, tell me this. Tell me this. What's going on, not just with this story that we just read from the Department of Justice website, but what's happening with these nurses who are going to schools that are diploma mills and that's not accredited? What's happening in the medical healthcare workforce?
Well, here's the thing. Some of them are slipping through the cracks, and somehow these facilities, these jobs are letting them in without doing checks. Or they know and they're letting them in. That is the dangerous one. You know that they did not go to an accredited school. You know that they bought their diploma. All you want is a warm body. That is dangerous. Okay. There was even a case where several people, and this really upset me, several of the nurses landed in hospice. And there are people in the comments talking about, well, at least it's hospice. No, I don't care what part of life you're in. You deserve to be treated with dignity and excellent care.
Absolutely.
So what you're telling me is because the person is at the end of their life, that they're in hospice, that they ain't gonna know the difference? I know the difference, and I'm a tell.
She a snitch, y'all. She a snitch.
I'm a snitch. I'm a tell. I'm gonna call everybody. I'm a tell. So you got to be careful. They're slipping through the cracks. You got these administrators that know. You're gonna find a lot of them in nursing homes.
Okay, so administrators of the healthcare facilities.
Correct.
Okay.
Nursing homes, assisted living facilities, hospitals, med surge. You even got critical care nurses that did not go to nursing school. They bought their diploma. And you'll notice that the ones that don't count, they're not going to push the envelope. They're not going to buck the system. Those are the ones that bought their diplomas because they don't want to make waves. I'm telling everybody. Our body, everybody. Because all it takes is the smallest little slip up with a medication. And now you up for murder.
Well, here's the thing. So what happens if I go to the doctor, medical office, or I put a loved one in a rehabilitation facility, and I just go there and I get this feeling and like something not right? Because there are issues with nurses and healthcare workers that are licensed and
Correct.
But what agency would you report that to if you were to find that out, or you suspect?
Check the board of nursing, see if they have a license.
Okay, there you go.
Then it's very easy to find out where they went to school.
Can you ask them to present? They have my credentials.
They can't. They're not gonna. They're not, because they're underneath that facility where they are. So that facility is gonna protect them. So if anything, you go to the director, or whomever is in charge, and you say, "Listen, I have a little dilemma, because I'm thinking that maybe something is going on here that's untoward, and I'm not comfortable with their practice." I've sent a many nurses home. I'm gonna need you to go home and read, because something ain't right.
Really?
Yeah, you need to go home. And I'm gonna be here tomorrow, so you might not want to come back tomorrow either. a lot of agency nurses.
Okay.
So it's sad because a lot and a lot of these if it's too good to be true, if it seems like it's too good to be true, like all these nursing programs that's popping up with these great rates, and oh yeah, we'll take you in and you won't have to pay this, or we'll fast track you. You check that fast tracking bullshit. You check
Hmm.
it.
Okay.
Check it,
Okay.
because
Okay.
there's a lot of places that are like, oh, we're gonna put this, we're not gonna have it separated. We're gonna put this subject and this subject and this subject together, and then you're gonna go through them and fast track you through. No, because when you get over on the other side, that's why a lot of these places now, and I'm thanking God that they are asking for transcripts.
Ah.
When you
Okay.
go to
Okay.
apply for a job,
Okay.
that's one way
Okay.
that they're catching it, because they're looking at the transcript. Oh, you had pharmacology 1 and 2, and you fat. No, no, no. You got to break that up. Those are the things that
Right.
medications, process. Those things need to be set up and they need to be focused in on. You can't just because I'm gonna get you fat faster than that. There's so many fake, funky schools out there, and they just turning out hot messes. And you know who
Don't
has to
they?
clean it up?
Who?
We do.
Who's the we?
The real nurses, the one that's been in the game for a while. We gotta, because somebody's gonna come to me and ask me, Shonda, let me ask you a question about such and such. This nurse did this. Nope, that ain't right. You need to call them on the carpet. You need to call their charge nurse. That's not right.
Wow.
There's no shortcuts in nursing. If you get good enough, that's the shortcut, because you can do it very diligently and not miss a beat. But there's no shortcuts in nursing. Miss me with that.
Um, an LPN, that typically training for that diploma is what, typically what, 12 months, give or take.
Usually.
Okay. RN is usually at least 2 years to 3 years.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, and then you can go even up from there.
Right.
Nurse
And they have
practitioner.
an LPN to RN program. I think that's a year. I want to say LPN is a little bit longer. No, it's a year, but it's an LPN to RN. It's a transition. But you've already gotten the skills for the most part started and honed in on as you became an LPN. So that's why it moves a little faster. So becoming an LPN may be just a little bit longer.
Can you explain this? Because there seems to be, and please, those who are in this particular field I'm about to name, uh, two fields I'm about to name, don't be offended, but I want to get this clarity. There seems to be an easy road because they want to be certified nurses assistant, CNA, or CMA. Is that one?
CNA.
CNA
Hmm.
and home health aide.
Hmm.
And those trainings are much,
Shorter.
or our medical assistant technician, right?
Those are two separate things.
So,
Medical
okay,
assistant is pretty much in doctor's offices and things of that
okay.
nature.
But the CNA thing, the home health, those are similar, right?
Right.
And those are very short.
Very.
And that where some of them are slipping through the cracks? Because those,
Well, at that level, no. Well, yeah, they're gonna get in, but they're not tracked as much, because the skills learned in that
okay,
is very, very basic.
okay,
You're not giving any injections. You're not doing anything of that nature.
okay,
When you become an LPN is when now you can give a shot. You can hang IV bags, things that, like that. But a CNA pretty much is someone that helps with, homemaking, um,
okay,
getting them cleaned up, and getting them switched over from the bed to the, things of that
okay,
that nature, that
okay,
have to
okay,
watch the person. But
okay,
so if they slip through on that level, that's on them,
okay,
because
okay,
I wouldn't want to slip through on that level, because I've wiped
okay,
my share of asses.
okay. And yeah, yeah. Uh, I want to show you a story here that is just sickening. This is in Orlando with Advent Health.
Oh,
Maybe you've
Lord.
seen this story. This is, and this may be, when you said about them protecting
Yes.
the workers, this seems to be.
That's my girl right there. That's APRN Beauty right there from TikTok.
Okay, so you know. Okay, so here's this, and then we'll be right back. Where's my volume?
In Florida, just been caught for sexual assault from a year ago. Police say Advent tried to cover it up. Their lawyers would not respond. An amputee said that she reported to the nurse manager that this nurse was making passes at her. The nurse manager said she told the nurse not to go into the room and not to administer any more meds to the patient. The nurse goes in there, gives the patient morphine, and then sexually assaults her. This happened a year ago. He's just arrested last week, cruising in his Range Rover in Orlando. Police see him, and they get him. Key Health covered it up. They said that they let him go immediately, but detectives say he was health badge long after the lady says he committed this heinous act. This nurse, licensed in Florida, is still unencumbered, and he's licensed to practice in 40 states. Let's take a deeper look into it. Has anyone ever seen this dude in social media? I can't help but in my heart of hearts think that this dude is a fake nurse, because I can't see any nurse up in themselves the way he did. Well, I mean, yeah, I think he's one of the fake nurses. Here's the timeline of the events. On January 26, 2025, patient alleges Cootie sexually battered her. Police respond to the hospital to interview her. On the 27th, Orlando police contact Advent Health's attorney for the first time. February 25th, subpoenas issued and served to Advent Health's attorney. On March 21st, they follow up with him because they hadn't heard from him. They follow up with the attorney. On May 29th, police again follow up with Advent Health's attorney over him not complying with the subpoena. On June 3rd, the attorney provides subpoena documents but still does not facilitate interviews with witnesses. On July 2nd, the charge nurse was interviewed, but the nurse technician does not attend. August 7th, police attempt to contact a nurse technician to no avail. September 22nd, police email Advent Health's attorney asking to interview the nurse technician. On October 30th, police reach out to a different attorney with Advent Health about the other attorney having gone 5 weeks without responding. On November 20th, police schedule an interview with the nurse technician who does not show up. On January 9th, the nurse technician on shift at the time of the alleged incident interviews. February 13th, 2026, judge signs the warrant for Cootie's arrest.
What is this nurse technician?
Advent Health, and that he was administrative leave after the incident. Police say he posted videos to social media multiple the start of Orlando Police Department's investigation showing him wearing an Advent Health badge, seemingly taken inside the hospital. So many questions here. First of all, charge nurse, why didn't you immediately remove this nurse from that patient assignment when the patient said that he made a pass at her?
That's right.
What do you mean, don't go in the room, don't give morphine? What are you even saying here? To the Advent Health attorney, you made your company look guilty by just not complying with a subpoena as a lawyer to the point where they had to call another lawyer? Advent Health, shame on you for not making sure your patients are safe. It's going to cost y'all a couple $100 million. Why do you think the police put out that timeline? What are your thoughts, Nurse Gang? Let's talk about it.
Okay, Diva.
First of all, what's a nurse technician? I don't know what that is.
But he must be making bank. It makes him making bank if he's driving a Range Rover.
Listen, you know, it's always a hustle. It's always something, a shortcut to get in. And I'm gonna look into this. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna contact her because we need to chat this one up because
Uh-oh. It's just right up the road in Orlando, you know. It's just right.
Because you know what I'm finna say, right? I'm going to tell. I'm finna tell. See, because it makes it hard out here for a pimp. You know what I'm saying? It's hard out here for a pimp if we got these these people out here. First of all, you going in, you ain't even going to give no Toradol or no Dilaudid. You went in with the morphine. You want to make sure she is loopy too. Now, first of all, if that patient saw him coming in there,
but she was an amputee.
Mm-hmm.
So that probably means she could not defend herself.
Sure, she can.
Okay, well, depending on where she was. Okay. Well, okay.
She made a complaint to the nurse in charge.
Yeah, but she had the morphine though. But the morphine had a.
Listen, had he walked in the room, I'd have been throwing bedpans, everything, shoes, call lights. I'd have been ripping the curtain down. What? What?
But it's all about that power and control. He knew he had because he could drug her.
Oh, we finna talk about. And then someone put in here, innocent until proven guilty. I remember one night we had a somebody is trying to condone that behavior. That's the reason why we are in the predicament that we're in.
Yeah, so what actually happened was that the patient had soiled herself doing CPR, and she was awakened. Two female nurses were cleaning her up while the male nurse who had been doing compressions stepped out to get supplies. The nurse who was later accused by the daughter had simply seen how distraught she was, crying and wailing for her mom, and gave her a hug. We all ended up before the grand jury. In the end, nothing came of it. Yeah, but there again.
I mean, that's peas and carrots. We talking about two separate things here.
Sexual assault. And it took a year before he got arrested. A case says also, did the police not reach out to the victim? See, but Diva, if I'm mistaken, the police had to go because remember they kept contacting the Advent Health attorneys.
So right, and they were answering.
They were gatekeeping.
Oh, that's so sad. You know, I would hope that person stayed on their ass.
So they just got arrested 2 weeks ago. I mean, 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah, but you got to mash the gas on these people. They think sweep it under the rug is storming. Sweep it under the rug a couple times and basically it'll go away. Lies you tell. I'm gonna tell. I'm gonna go look up this story tonight, and I'm gonna hit my girl, and we gonna. Uh-oh.
There's gonna be a part 2 to this.
Yeah, stay tuned. I'm finna be mad.
And maybe we can get the APRN beauty. Is that the name? APRN beauty.
APRN Takara. I'm coming to find you, sis, because we need to figure this out. Because if the way he was looking on that mug shot,
yeah, he
rolled in looking like housekeeping. I'd have been throwing everything at him, trying to get him up out of there. You coming in here looking straight like housekeeping. Excuse me. Environmental sciences.
All right. All right, family. Let's talk about something serious for a moment. Not that wasn't serious, but something even more serious, or just as serious. With the escalating situation in the Middle East and reports surrounding Operation Epic Fury in Iran, or as the Iranians call it, Operation Epstein Fury, but I digress. There are real concerns about the Strait of Hormuz being disrupted or even blocked. Now, why does that matter? Because roughly 20% of the world's oil supply moves through that narrow waterway. If it's interrupted, the ripple effect hits the entire global economy. We're also already seeing pressure on energy prices. Diesel pushing past $5 a gallon in some places. And analysts are warning that oil could spike dramatically if the situation escalates. And remember, diesel fuels the trucks, ships, and tractors that move our food. It also ties into fertilizer production, which supports a massive portion of the world's agriculture. When energy spikes, the food chain feels it immediately. That's why preparedness prepares. matters. Listen, if you're serious about being prepared and want peace of mind that lasts, it's time to check out Ready Our Foods from My Patriot Supply. Our sponsor here, those emergency food kits have a shelf life of up to 25 years. That's preparedness for real, serious times. Visit the link down in our show notes and description and get your household ready today. Don't wait until it's too late. Stay ready. Take care of your family. Take care of your future. And as I always say, don't wait until it's too late. Stay ready. That's our sponsor, My Patriot Supply. It's getting serious out there. You better get ready because food is getting ready to go up, not just gas.
Not just gas. And I listen, let me give a quick shout out to my people that's been sent overseas or who are getting ready to be sent overseas, getting these reserve units ready, getting these guard units ready. Y'all, we need to stay on a prayer vigil on each and every person that is getting sent over and the support that's staying back here in the States. One thing I need y'all to understand: you will never, as long as this is going on, get the correct number of casualties to this war. You never will. And we still don't have the numbers to Desert Storm. We don't. So
Wow.
I need folks to get on your knees, not for that, but get on your knees and get to praying. If you got some prayer warriors, I need you to call them up. If you ain't talked to them in a while, because you know, like me, I don't go to church. But you know, if you got them on speed dial, go on and give them a hootie hoo, because we need to pray over every last one of our service members, every last one of them. And Lord, if you see fit to come back and get certain folks from pushing buttons and making commands, Lord, go ahead. Because the people already said they finna come do it. Lord, push the mash the gas.
And Revelation 8:1 says, and there was silence in heaven for the space of 1/2 hour. We're going to move from that one. Final story tonight. Faith fight in the White House. We appreciate your support. We appreciate your support, the sponsors that keep this platform independent and these conversations so honest. Now let's move to our final story of the night.
Honest.
And this one sits right at the intersection of faith, influence, and politics. The phrase making its way around the internet this week is faith fight in the White House. A public disagreement involving former Miss California, Carrie Prejean, televangelist Paula Kane, and Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick stirred up a lot of conversation and controversy about who speaks for evangelical Christians in political spaces and what happens when personalities, theology, and power collide. Prejean recently sat down with Tucker Carlson to describe her side of what took place and how the situation unfolded. Depending on who you ask, this is either a misunderstanding blown out of proportion or a window into deeper tensions inside the faith community when it steps into the political arena. Now, here's what we want to do tonight. Instead of just reacting to headlines, we're going to watch a 3-minute clip of Carrie explaining to Tucker the situation in her own words. Listen carefully to what she says, what she emphasizes, and what questions it raises. And while you're watching that, we wanted to hear from you, so jump down there in the comments if you're watching live and tell us what you think. Is this a legitimate disagreement about faith and leadership, or an example of personalities clashing in the public square? And while we're pulling that up, I want to give full disclosure. I'll just say full disclosure. Let's do this. Okay, here we are. We'll watch this clip first. Just the one. Okay, and then we'll give some more context to what's going on. Where we at? There we are. Okay, here we go. Buckle up. Fair use for YouTube. Fair use.
I got a call after I was on pins and needles. I finally got a call, and it was Dan and Paula. And I'll never forget. I literally remember
Dan
every
Patrick
word.
And Paula White.
Yes, they called me and they said, "Hi, Carrie. I know you've been worried this past couple weeks, but." Dan started, and he goes, "I just want to let you know we've been in meetings about your situation."
What situation?
Yeah, what situation that I'm posting about God forbid I criticize Israel. Can't do that while serving in this administration. And he said, I just want to let you know, Carrie, your job on this commission, I'll never forget this, Tucker. Your job on this commission is protect the president and his reputation. He said that to me, the first thing out of his mouth. I couldn't believe it. I go, what? I thought my job is to protect religious freedom. I thought that's what he appointed me to do. And he goes, you've been saying things online, Carrie, and you really need to stay off social media. Do not use social media between now and the end of your term.
Okay, so let me set this up. She was on a religious commission about religious freedom, and they had they had one today, but this is what they had a few months ago, and this is when the war in Gaza was really going, and she was asking questions to some of the Jewish rabbis and stuff that were there, and they were denying that there were children being killed and starved and shot and over in Gaza. And so she would also post what she's Catholic, devout Catholic. So sometimes the Holy Father, the Pope, would post stuff about let's pray for the children in Gaza, da 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 da. So this is the context where the Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick and Pastor Paula wife then came to her after that piece. Okay, so now let's go with the rest of it, and it gets worse.
And then Paula White chimed in, and she said, "Yeah, Carrie, you know what? You really shouldn't be posting about replacement theology. You shouldn't be posting about that. And there's a lot of people that are saying that you're an anti-Semite, Carrie, by your posts. You're criticizing Zionism, you're criticizing Israel, and we have a problem with that." And then Dan chimed in again, and he got loud. He got real loud, and he's like, Carrie, because I pushed back, and I said, well, wait a second. I said, what am I posting that is so offensive to you? That's against the rules of this commission, because I didn't sign anything saying I wasn't going to use my social media. I speak out about things that I care about. I'm a religious person. I'm a Christian. And he said, you've been saying things that go against, I'll never forget this. He goes, you've been saying things that are not in alignment with the president and are not in alignment with Paula White and some of the other members on this commission.
Woo.
And that's when I knew that this commission was a fraud. It was pretend. It was not about religious freedom. It was about, you better be a Zionist, you better push our agenda, or you're off. And that was in August. So we ended the conversation. Dan got really upset because I said, I really do want to keep posting. I'm not going to not use my social media. Can't agree to that, Dan. And he goes, well, why don't you just, if you have any questions about Israel or Gaza, because Paula White chimed in, was like, I'm the expert in that. You're just
Paula White's an expert on Gaza?
Yeah, I'm the expert in that. I just got back from there, and there's no kids starving there. It's all fake, Carrie. It's all pretend. Yeah. And so she said, if you
She's
want
a Christian minister saying that?
Yeah.
How
yeah.
you lie
Do you
like
think that she, at any point in the course of a day, feels like, oof, I'm going to have to answer for this at some point?
No, I think she's just...
To deny the death of children in the name of Jesus is a pretty heavy thing to do.
It's pretty sick. It's pretty dark. And she said, I want you, if you have any questions about anything, if you want to post anything, you need to run it by me first. So now Paula White, an equal of mine on this commission, is now telling me that I have to get everything approved by her in order to post about my religious beliefs. Is that insane?
Yeah, it's making my heart beat fast.
Yeah.
Listening to this,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. So that's the backstory.
What's completely evil, and I'll just say, I know Paula White sort of, I know Dan Patrick very well. He's a lot more liberal than I am. He's quite liberal, but I always liked him. He's not stupid at all. And I'm shocked by this. I was shocked by it. It's just so disgraceful.
Me too. I cried, actually. I cried. I cried to my husband. I cried to my kids. I couldn't believe this. I couldn't believe that this was happening in the United States of America, that we care more about protecting a foreign nation than we do our own people.
Okay. Now, let's go a little further. This is the hearing that she was referring to. where she was questioned. This is Dan Patrick here.
One last follow-up. Since we've mentioned Israel a total of 17 times, are you willing to condemn what is done in Gaza?
No, because I unilaterally reject that it's not a genocide. The only genocide ever carried out was on October 7th when Hamas tried killing every man, woman, and child they could possibly find. Hang on, let me respond.
70,000 innocent civilians killed?
Let me respond. So first of all,
you won't condemn that?
And Carrie,
just on the record.
He's already. Excuse me. Okay. As chair of the committee,
I think it's important we have this discussion.
I agree. I'm happy to answer.
And Carrie,
I think we'd be great friends.
Yeah, Carrie, I'm happy to answer.
Carrie, we have had the discussion. Good questions, good answers. This is a commission on religious liberty. If there's another commission on
America,
this issue,
I don't know why we're talking about a foreign country.
Well, to be fair, you brought it up.
Okay.
You did.
At no point in my testimony did I mention Israel. I was very clear about American Jewry.
You did.
I did not mention Israel.
Okay. We'll talk about this later.
True, I did not mention Israel.
This can be another discussion on another day, and you two can have coffee. Let's go to Rabbi to close this up, and then we'll wrap this panel up.
Thank you, Chairman. I thought I'd conclude this session.
Okay, so now let's show you. For those of you who aren't familiar with who Paula White is, there's a documentary on YouTube called by Not the Good Girls, about a 2-hour documentary that goes from Paula's birth all the way to the present. It was as if she had the 2-hour documentary sitting there ready to be released. But it's very and let me give my full disclosure now, so nobody think no funny game going on. I know Pastor Paula personally. I've known her for 30 years. I'm good friends, very close friends with her ex-husband, Bishop Randy White. And he's going to be here. We'll be doing his podcast real soon, where he's going to be sharing his stories of building a ministry of 30,000 people here in Tampa, along with her. Taught her everything she knows, which may be good or bad, but because she wasn't the preacher when they first started. She wasn't, but she, and then T.D. Jakes helped her, and she got that black style of preaching, and boom, bam, boom. Anyway, this is her because her testimony is she led the president of the United States. Back before he was president, she led Donald Trump to the Lord. That's her story back in 2002. So anyway, that's the Real Raw podcast with Randy and White, coming soon, powered by the Raw CTV network. But here's a little vignette on Paula. I was, matter of fact, the church they had Without Walls. I was the last senior pastor at Without Walls at National Church before they sold it. And he retired, and she was already going to Orlando. So full disclosure. So everybody, So all right. Here's
Why do we need to listen to anything little Poe have to say?
When I walk on White House grounds, God walks on White House grounds. When I go into the dry cleaning place becomes holy. I had every right and authority to declare the White House as holy ground because I was standing there, and where I stand is holy.
It was about an assignment to say no to President Trump would be saying no to God. And I won't do that.
You need to send in $3,500. You need to send in $35,000. You need to send in that $100,000 check. If you do not write that P.O. box and you do not call that toll-free number and you do not become a ministry of sustainer, you will never see sustainment in your life, and your dream will die. Your call will die.
Very useful.
In a world of faith and flashy lights, mega churches and their pastors sometimes come with mega drama. None quite encapsulate that like Pastor Paula White. In her world, marital affairs, bankrupting churches, and using church money to pay for plastic surgery aren't unheard of. As a young girl
should get her money back.
Trailer and became a young married mother, she grew up to become a preacher. After an affair with the associate pastor of her church, and not before they ran off together. Regardless, it seemed Pastor Paula was destined for the stage. She led a congregation of 22,000 members, became a multimillionaire, hosted a Christian TV show, owned a private jet, and an 8,000 square foot beachfront home. She also loved to preach to celebrities, one being Donald Trump, who she helped gain the evangelical vote in 2016. Gone were the days of grabbing women by the Pastor Paula made him shiny and new for the evangelical elite. And while you can polish a turd, you can't remove the stink. And a lingering stench of betrayal and greed has followed Paula her entire career and 3 marriages. But Paula won't stop believing, which is why she married a member of the band Journey. and turned him into a pastor as well. This is the scandalous story of Pastor Paula White.
All right, Diva, you have heard this story. I've set it all up for you. Here, you being a person that is worked in institutions where leadership, credibility, and trust matter, what stands out to you in this situation, and what should people be thinking about when faith leaders step into political power circles?
They don't mix. They don't mix. She's not to be trusted. They don't mix, and anything that come out of her mouth is not going to be anything you can hang your hat on. So if that's what you following, you be better off worshiping the Geico lizard. They look about the same, but you be better off. I said it. It bees like that sometimes. I don't even know who be talking. My mouth.
This is real talk. This is real talk. This is real talk.
When I tell you those two things don't match, politics and religion should not be all in the same breath. And when she says she turned him to God, I don't think that's possible.
Well, you really have to. I'm not gonna, because
Don't.
I'm
no. Don't.
I'm not gonna. I'm gonna let you. I'm not gonna get, because But
she's a snake. She's a snake. Now, I mean, anybody that can lay down with that, she's a snake.
Now, what do you think about what she said to the Carrie Prejean on the? She was. I'm the expert.
She's the expert
on Gaza. Like, really?
She is probably breaking her own arm trying to pat herself on the back. She gives herself the most kudos. Like, if nobody else gonna pump her up, she gonna pump herself up. I guess I should just be like, you know what? I feel you on that one. No, she's a snake.
And it was something, because when Randy has to tell the story, when they got the divorce, and back in 2007, he left, and she took over the church here in Tampa for a while, and then she left, and then he came back and took it over to the close. He became the bishop, and on the tail, and I became the senior pastor. But she was in Orlando. She took a church over in Orlando in 2012. But she was when people forget, or people don't know, from the late 90s, when T.D. Jakes pushed her, and Without Walls was already with tens of thousands of members, T.D. Jakes, she was preaching all the black churches every day. And for years, all the black conferences, Woman Down, Lewis, everything, everybody back would preach, all the black churches. And then she was also on TV and the Christian television.
We accept anybody.
But because she knew how to do it. She learned, because half the Without Walls.
She grew up in a trailer. I grew up in a trailer. There it is.
So what happened is this. But when Donald Trump came down in June 2015, came down the golden escalator and announced his presidency, and she endorsed him, all her engagements with all the black churches, like, immediately. So she ostracized herself, and then all of a sudden, they stopped inviting her in the whole 9 yards. And as things have gotten worse, So but here's the thing about it. The irony is, it's a commission on religious freedom, but yet she was telling her she didn't have the freedom to post about.
Right. She can't post how she wants to freely, because she's sick.
So, but here's the thing about it, and she's also the spiritual advisor, and she's also over the Faith Advisory Board at the White House. She actually has an office adjacent to the Oval Office. She actually has an office. She's yeah. And a good friend of mine that I've known since he was 5 years old, Bishop Kelvin Cabarrus, who pastors in Plant Cities from Orlando, he's on the commission. That last video that posted where they were praying for Donald Trump at the Oval Office at this, that black preacher, that bald black preacher that had his hand up, that's Bishop Cabarrus. He wants to be the next state bishop of Church of God in Florida.
Is he a crook? You know, that's a prerequisite.
I don't know him to be a crook. I don't know him to be a crook.
Well, he might not want to apply for that job. You got to be a crook in order to be in that position.
So, but anyway, so it's a lot of strange bedfellows. But I think what's happening, even with Tucker Carlson, because there's another clip of that interview. You ought to go to Tucker Carlson Network and watch it, where she's like, well, first of all, I'm Catholic, so we don't believe women are supposed to be pastors anyway. So, because he was like, which is true, the Catholic, they don't. And so then they were showing pictures of Paula speaking in tongues and laying hands or casting devils out. Well, they were like, the Catholic Church is like, now they believe in exorcism, but now that speaking in tongues, she's like, to them, it's like gibberish. And what has happened since that
they don't do that either?
No, not the Catholic Church.
If the Catholic...
If the Catholic Church, what? She froze. You froze up there, Diva. There's lightning down there where she is in her city. So that may be what happened. She meant to go back in and come in. Yeah, she froze. Go back out and come back in. Anyway, so they don't believe that. So what has happened since this interview came out last week or last weekend, every video, every...
Yes. There it is. And there it is then.
There you are. Every video of Pastor Paula over the last 30 years doing whatever, when she was calling for the angels to come back from Africa, and all like that, has been recirculating. And what were you saying before you froze up? You froze up for about 30 seconds.
I froze. You froze.
Okay, well, I was.
And you was looking crazy.
And you were like,
I was just saying that it was storming here, and that's probably why it. But it's probably the demon spirit that's on here, over here. You know, listen. I wish the religion part that I have kept out of my life. I want to be there when the Lord said to these people who down here pretending. Didn't I tell you? What's the scripture that he tell them don't play with me? What'd he say? Give me one of them scriptures. I want a scripture where the Lord say, do not play with me.
He said, you depart from when you go to heaven, and you say, did not do this, did I cast out devils and all this, did I heal the sick? He's going to say, depart from me, you worker of iniquity. And he going to send you.
That's what he going to say. And you know what? I'm going to be over in the corner with the popcorn. I'm going to be like, just like that. Gonna be like, tell them, Jesus, because it's a whole lot of people down here. They running amok, acting they just buying jets and they just running amok. And I hope he snatch a knot in their ass, because they leading people astray. You're not leading. See, I think if I was God, which I'm not,
thank God,
it's proven.
Thank the Lord.
Because if I was God and your job was to bring people to me, to come and worship and learn about me, and you down here with the tomfoolery, I might have to do something to you while you're here on earth still. You hear me? Okay. Y'all get off easy. I told you I want you to change your profession. I need you to change your profession. Look.
You hear that? This is a couple weeks ago at her church in Orlando.
Get a check, make it payable to Paula White Ministry. There are people that are watching right now. If you say, I don't have it, give $100. Bring up a sacrificial seed. This isn't for me. This is about kids that will die without you being obedient. This is about kids who are...
Yeah, but that Gucci belt you got on.
And warriors and mighty for God. This is about kids who don't make a difference. I'm not going to take everybody's blessing. Come on. I'm going to tell you, get a seed of sacrifice. Get in the arena.
Who's dressing her?
I need you to stand. There's only 3 envelopes. I'm not moving. I'm not going to lay hands on people. So you're obedient. Get out of your seat. Come on. And come bring up a seed. Come bring up a seed.
She need to. I would just go up and just push her down.
You're going to get it with or without the
I'll push her right in the dirt. She say she not gonna lay hands on nobody until y'all get. Get that foolishness off of him, sir.
It's what all of her. Yeah,
I don't need nobody taking pictures of nothing on this screen that got anything to do with Paula White Ministries. Paula White trailer trash. Look at this. Bruh, what is you doing?
This is about what I've done for these kids. God is going to certainly do for mine. Then my lineage and legacy. I got too many prayers, too much in the arena.
That's her husband on the piano.
Come on, get up here. In the name of Jesus, Pastor Paula, if all I have is $10, then bring it $10. But you get something down here and say, I'm not going to leave until I
listen to her.
on this altar. I'll keep on. I'll keep on. You guys have no idea. I'll keep plowing this because I'll break every demonic chain, every spirit of poverty. Come on, how many of you get afraid? Come on, how many of you get afraid of giving sometimes? I break it in the name of Jesus. You're looking at your bills. You're looking at your checkbook. You're looking at what's ahead of you. God, whatever.
No,
you're looking at your bills. You're looking at your bills. Yeah, you better pay your bills.
You're gonna go home and you're gonna be by candlelight.
Because guess what? Most churches ain't gonna pay your light bill or your rent.
And will not pay your light bill. You call to get some assistance from your church, and they gonna be like, "No, we ain't got it. I can put something on it though."
Look.
Get that demon off the screen, sir.
So anyway, that's what we're dealing with, and people love her.
That's why I don't go to church, right there.
People love her. People love her. I mean,
there's some people that are so lost. If you let that lead you.
If she decided to come back to Tampa tomorrow and start a church, 10,000 of them out of the 20-some thousand be there ready.
It's just like cult behavior.
Cult behavior. And because she's close to the president, there's a whole other faction of folk that's going to, they're going to come because they say, well, if I get close to her, maybe she can get me close to the president. Because she says that the president is anointed by God to be in that position. She mean that. So anyway, put your comments down there. We got to go. And we got 3 minutes left. That's what a night. That brings us to the close of the night session of Real Talk with the RN Diva Pastor Robert. If this conversation challenged you, informed you, or made you think a little deeper, don't keep it to yourself. Hit that subscribe button, like the stream, follow the page, share this episode with someone who appreciates real conversation instead of echo chambers. Those simple actions help independent voices like us grow without asking permission from gatekeepers. Also, we want to thank our sponsors who make this platform possible. Look down in the comments. When you support those businesses and partners listed in the description below, you're helping us continue to bring thoughtful discussions to the table. And if you value the expertise, the courage, and insight that the Diva brings every week, support her directly. Follow her work, share her voice, and stand behind her, the mission that she represents. Diva, how can they be a blessing to you since they give it $10,000
to this little pole heifer here? You can reach me over on Venmo at RN Diva 01, or on my Cash App is $RN Diva 01. If any of you want to follow the stories, this unaccredited schools and uneducated nurses, please go over to my TikTok, RN Diva Speaks, and Nurse Guru 77. And I'm gonna tell all the business because I'm trying to find out what is we about to find out. Listen, there's no shortcuts to becoming a nurse. Find you something else to do.
All right, there you go. You have it. And if you'd like to support me, Pastor Robert, and the RCTV Network, you can do that through the links and sponsorship partners listed below. This network is listener powered, and every share, every follow, every contribution helps keep the microphones on to these conversations uncompromised. If you would like to be a blessing to me, there it is right there. Cash App, $ Rob Carpenter 2, and Venmo at Rob Carpenter 2. Coinbase, if you have cryptocurrency, at Rob Carpenter II, PayPal at Rob Carpenter 2, and also the Zelle information as well. Be a blessing. We're here every week, usually every week, unless one of us is too tired up, busy, or sick. Sometimes we just get tired, y'all. Listen. Age is aging. But listen, we definitely appreciate any support that you can do to help us do this. Now, don't forget, you get Real Talk Pastor Robert. If you missed the live broadcast, listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Audible, YouTube Music, and Facebook. Subscribe wherever you listen so you don't miss another episode. And while you're staying connected, I want you to be sure, Diva, I want them to check out my podcast, my other podcast, which deals with the church culture clinic podcast of Pastor Robert, where we diagnose the issues facing the church and the culture with biblical clarity. And
he's
coming
by
soon,
himself, and I'm not there.
Sometimes the podcasts overlap, though. And coming soon, we're launching the brand new show on the RCTV Network, The Real Raw Podcast with Randy A. White. Yes, that Randy White, the former husband of Paula White. That conversation is going to be bold, unfiltered, and powered by the RCTV Network. So until next time, stay prayerful, stay thoughtful, stay discerning, and we'll see you right back here on the RCTV Network. Peace out.
Wow.